Everybody, thanks for pressing play on the video today. It is Caroline here from craftycarolinecreates.com. We are well into Eastern Palace week. This is project number 5 of my week-long showcase of beautiful projects using the new Eastern Palace suite, which Stampin' Up have released a little bit early. I do have a separate video showing you how you can get your hands on all of these beautiful products. I'll put a link to that in the description bar below, so do go over and check that out if you haven't already. But this is today's project, a really beautiful gift box. The lid comes up and inside it is all beautifully lined, and that liner does a dual job of obviously giving that beautiful inside of the box, and we can also see it behind these die cut pieces. And this is all created using products from Eastern Palace. So should I stop talking and show you just how we made it? Okay, let's go. So you're going to start with some scoring, and you're going to need 3 pieces of cardstock. All of the dimensions will be over on my blog. So we've got 1 piece for the base, which is Melon Mambo. It measures 11 by 4. And 2 pieces. This is the lid bit. This measures 5 by 3 3/4, and this is our liner, which measures 6 3/4 by 5 1/2. So let's do some scoring. Starting off with the Melon Mambo bit, we are going to put the long piece across the top. All of the dimensions are on craftycarolinecreates.com. I'll put a direct link below. So we are going to score it at 3 1/4, 5 1/4, 8 1/2, and 10 1/2. 10 1/2. Okay, turn it 90 degrees and we're going to score it at 2 inches. So basically scoring it in half there. Okay, we're going to bring in our liner piece. This is the 6 3/4 by 5 1/2, and we're going to score this on all 4 sides at 1 3/4 of an inch. And 1 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and then our lid bit, we are going to score. This measures 5 by 3 3/4. I'm going to score it at 3/8 of an inch, and it's 7/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. So 3/8 and 7/8, 3/8 of an inch. 3/8 of an inch and 7/8 of an inch, and the last one 3/8. Oh, not doing very well here, and 7/8. There we go. Okay, right, now we're going to do some die cutting using the amazing Eastern Medallion Thinlits. These are probably the most used dies I've ever owned. There are 2 small little circle dies here. These are the smallest of the circles, and they don't actually cut out a circle, they just cut out a hole. I did an example here to show you the sort of shapes that they cut out, and you can use either one. I'm going to use this one today. And what you can see is, when I cut this out, they do have a bit of an orientation to it, and I think, you know, this one should probably be like that. So to help me make sure I get it straight, let's put that one to one side. What I have done, I don't know how well you can see this, is through the middle line of dots, I've just drawn a line using a pen. And if we keep that straight, like that, as we put it through the die cutting machine, we will make sure that the die has the same orientation each time. You will understand when I see it. So what we are going to do is we're going to draw a line on our cardstock that we are going to then match this line up to as we die cut it, and then theoretically we should get a nice repeating pattern. So I'm just going to bring in a ruler and a pencil, and I'm going to line the cardstock up in the corner of my grid paper. And we want to draw a line at 2 3/4 inches up the cardstock. Just a gentle pencil line, just like that. And we're going to use that when we do our die cutting now to get the window all the way straight along our box. So I'm going to bring in the big shot. Here he comes. And hopefully all that babbling will become clear now we start doing the die cutting. So let's put our cards on our big shot. I've got my magnetic platform in, which really is a big help with this. I'm going to put my, let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Just put that into rough position. Can you see? I've got my line that I drew across the die and the pencil line, and they're all lining up. And I'm about 1 centimetre in from the edge there. So I'm going to go through the big shot, come back out again, okay, and then just lift this off, and you can see that it's cut that lovely shape into the card. Excuse me. I'm just going to clean off my dies. I just dropped it a few times. People tell me not to do that, but all of the card then popped out. I'm just going to move it further along the pencil line, and again about half an inch or 1 centimetre away from this score line here, and I'm lining up that line there again, and then we're going to go through the big shot again. Okay, and you can see now our pattern repeats really nicely, and we're going to keep on doing that all the way along. Let's zoom out. We're going to keep on doing that all the way along. These smaller panels, I'm just going to do one in the middle. Rather than you sit and watch me do that, move the big shot out of the way. I do have, in good old Blue Peter fashion, here is one I created earlier. So all I did, as you can still see the pencil line there, as I've just gone, got one piece still left in there, hanging in. These do pop out really easily, apart from this one. Let me just snip that one out. For some reason one hasn't cut out, but they do pop out really easily, apart from this one. Just going to snip that off, there we go. So you can see the pattern that we've created, and I'm just going to go along now and rub out that pencil line. Okay, and we can start building up our box. Okay, so let's do some folding and burnishing. And we are just going to, at the end where we've got a little 1/2 inch flap, we're going to snip up the middle score line and then just cut off the bottom piece. So that's the piece that is attached to what's going to be a base, the bit that we didn't do the die cutting in. Just make sure I got that. And then we are going to go along and cut up each of these score lines. Okay, and then we're just going to notch out the 2 of the smaller flaps that we've created. There we go. Okay. Fold this box up is really simple, but what we just need to do is we just need to check. Can you see when we fold that up, we get this little piece of the flap folding through. So what I'm just going to do is just where that is, and I can see that because I can just actually see where my pencil line hasn't completely rubbed out at the end. Just going to cut a little V in like that. And then when we fold it up, you can see now you get the full hole. You don't see any of this little flap. And then we're going to put some Tombow on this flap. Not Tombow, snail. Not snail, fuse. Get the right adhesive. Fuse, 3rd time lucky. Some fuse along there. Just rub that off. Should have used my silicone mat. I just fold that over. And there is our basic box shape. Fold in our 2 edge flaps. and then we want this bit. This is our fold, so we want, this is our join here, so we want this flap to come over towards it. So we're going to put a fuse on here. There we go, and just close that down, and there is our basic box. Now let's bring in our other two pieces that we folded and burnished. So this is going to be our liner, and we're going to see that black peeking through those holes. So I'm just going to fold and burnish those to begin with. Okay. And now we're going to do a little bit of what I call windmill cutting. So we're going to cut up one of these corners and then turn it round and cut up the next one. You can see those are like opposite orientation, and then we're going to cut up this one and we're going to turn it round and cut up there. Okay, and now what we want to do is notch out each of these corners in turn. Notch, 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 notch. There we go. Okay, and then we want to cut these off, so we're literally going to be left with about a centimetre flap. So this is just going to be big enough to hold the box together, but when we build it up, we're not going to be able to see those flaps inside. Okay, so these are quite little flaps that I'm leaving. Okay, let's move all of this away. And what you would normally do to build up a box, you would put this tape, you would fold the flap over and put the fuse on the other side, and then that would fold up like that. But what we want to do is we want to fold it up so the flap goes on the outside, so that when we look into the box we don't see any joins. It's a bit hard to see on the black cardstock, but hopefully you get the idea. Let me just move this light a little bit closer, see if that helps at all. So now we're going to put fuse. So don't bend the flap over, put the fuse on the side that's facing up. Okay, we can do that on all four sides. Okay, and just bring this up, press it into the corner and stick it down like that. But can you see the flap? I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see there. The flap is on the outside of the box. Next one. Next one. And the next one. Oh, I did that one wrong. Did I do? No, I did it right. I thought I'd done it wrong. I nearly did it wrong on the last one. And that is our little box. But when you see inside, if you can see inside, there's no flap here. The flaps are on the outside there. Now this should, if I did my measurements right, and I think I have done pretty perfectly actually, this should then just nicely slide down inside of our box. So we get a lovely lined box, and that black shines through those holes that we die cut earlier on. Doesn't that look beautiful so far? Okay, now to make up our lid, and we will fold and burnish again. If I can see my foam folder, here it is. Fold and burnish all those score lines we've made once again. And we're going to reinforce this lid, and all that means is that it just gives a little bit more strength as it comes on and off, because it is quite just a little 1/2 inch lap. So in each corner we've created sort of 4 little squares. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut up past 2 score lines so that we make 2 long flaps. The one at the end we're going to cut off completely, and then the second one we are just going to cut off the bottom. I have done this a lot, this sort of box quite a lot before, but not for a little while. So I will show you how we did it again. So what we end up with, and then what I did is I just chamfered off that little flap that we have, and then again a little notch on either side of the larger flap there. So let's do it again. So next one we're going to cut up and up across 2 score lines. We get 2 flaps. Cut off the end flap completely, and then the middle, the center one, we're just going to cut off the end flap. So we take sort of an L shape away, and then just notch out here and here, and notch out the flap as well itself. Okay. Another one here. Notch that out there and there. So that's our L shape taken off, and then we just have notched out that flap and take the edges off here, and this just makes it that little bit easier when we come to fold it all up. So one more. So we'll cut up over 2 of the score lines. Cut off the end bit there and there, and notch out the little flap you're left with, and then just take the edges off the 2 longer flaps there. So let me put that down, and you can see the sort of shape that we are ending up with. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of fuse on these flaps here. Okay, and these are then going to fold up to make a basic box, but you've then got these 4 bigger flaps still sticking up. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to use some Tombow for this. I'm just going to put some Tombow, oh, that corner's come undone, there we go. I'm going to put some Tombow along here, fold it over, and here's my bone folder. Press that down and just give it a second for the Tombow to stick. There we go. Turn it round, do the same on the next flap. And it's important to use your bone folder to get this crease nice and tight, nice and sharp, because this is what will make your lid really look really neat. Oh, excuse me, I've got a bit of a in my voice this morning, haven't I? Okay. I hope that's not going to be a cold or something coming on. Okay, and then the last one, although my son has just started nursery, and I'm sure all parents know that that means you have to gear yourself up for lots of germs coming into your house. So I could have a cold. Okay, so just give that Tombow a second to dry, and then this pops over nicely and makes the lid of our box. Now to decorate the lid, this was a bit of a revelation when I found out this happened. I have a bit of Mole Melon Mambo, and these are the epoxy stickers that come in the Eastern Palace bundle. And I'm just going to take off this flower here, just using my paper piercer to help me peel that off. I'm just going to stick it onto the cardstock. And what I found out is that if you take out our Eastern Palace framelets here, this one perfectly coordinates with that sticker, so you can die cut out your sticker shapes. Amazing. I guess it's just another alternative. I guess you could stamp and heat emboss this. You could use this stamp, heat emboss it, and then maybe do some little circles, but how effective is that? Just really super quick. So let's bring the Big Shot back in, and I think these all coordinate actually with some of the dies. These stickers I've been really impressed by the stickers actually. They were one of those things, and I think I'm really pleased actually you can only buy it as a bundle, because it made me buy some things that I probably wouldn't have otherwise, and I've really enjoyed playing with some different embellishments, so the tassels and the stickers. So I'm just going to line up my die there, and let's take it through. Just move the Big Shot in a bit so I don't take out my tripod. go back and move this out of the way. And then, oh, it's already popped out. And there we go, that is our beautiful die cut flower. Just going to then use my fingers and my bone folder just to turn up the petals a little bit. And if you wanted, you could even use the inner die. Do you remember, this is the example I've showed you. If you just cut it out of plain cardstock, you can make these little flaps. And that also coordinates with the thing. So this is one that I did earlier, where I have used the inner die to pop out the centre bits, and I wasn't sure which one I was going to like best. So you can either do it flat, or you can use the second die to pop up those little petals even more. I think I like the one where I've popped them up a bit more. What do you think? Yeah, should we go full out bling and use that one? Okay, so that's going to go on the top of my box like that. And then I am going to use the sentiment here. So what I've done is just a little bit of Whisper White cardstock. This measures, I do have the measurements for it somewhere, 3 1/4 by 1 3/4. And I've used I think I've said it before, this stamp set has some really good sentiments. I've just used Enjoy Today, and I have stamped that in Lemon Lime Twist, because I just think that little bit of lime green gives a really nice contrast. So let's get a dimensional somewhere in the pile of mess on my desk that you can't see just out of camera. I should have some dimensionals. Maybe not then. Oh, not very prepared. Where are my dimensionals? Here they are, got them. Just going to pop a dimensional on the centre of my flower. Peel that off. That's going to go on there, like that, I think. There we go. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? And then this is going to slide just underneath there. I'm going to cut off at a diagonal here and here, so that we can hide it a little bit so we don't see it underneath the petals. Just like that. Let's put some Tombow on the back. And that's just going to go under there, like that. And there we go. I've just had another little brainwave so that we could actually embellish this a little bit more. I'm not sure whether this is going to work, but these are the epoxy stickers. And I was just thinking, if you wanted to, you could maybe put one of these small ones in the centre of each of these circles. Should we give it a go? This might, if it doesn't make the final edit, then you know it didn't work. Let's see. If the thumbnail had these on, then it worked. If not, it didn't. So you could just put these little stickers in the centre. What do you think? Does that add anything? I'm not sure. Maybe I'll try and take it off. Here we go. I think I prefer it without. But you can... Live crafting evolution. It's all about trial and error crafting, isn't it? Maybe I should have tried it before I started filming the video. But there we go. What do you think? I think it's a really pretty little box. Something very different. I'm in love with Eastern Palace. I hope you are enjoying this series too. And I will be back tomorrow with another Eastern Palace project. Hope you liked today, and I will see you then. Oh, it's been a long video, hasn't it? Okay, cheerio. Bye-bye.